Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Guys of Magic. This is Hunter, David, Shane, and Steven. Say what up, boys.
Yo.
Hello.
What's up, nerds?
We are back. This time, we're taking a look at all the legendary creatures once again from Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth. This time, we're taking a look at all the black creatures that could be potential commanders. Once again, before we get started, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and let's get right into it with the first one, Gollum, Patient Plotter. Gollum, Patient Plotter is 1 and a black for a 3 legendary creature halfling horror. It says when Gollum, Patient Plotter, leaves the battlefield, the ring tempts you. You can also pay 1 black, sacrifice a creature, return Gollum from your graveyard to your hand, activate only as a sorcery. This doesn't seem like a commander at all, does it, David?
No, this doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything, is right.
I mean, you can blink it in mono black, right?
Yep, 100%.
No. I mean, I don't know. This card is bad. Even the fact that it goes back to your hand and not back into play. I don't like this at all.
I don't either.
Steven, what do you think about Gollum?
I think it's great.
Why?
2 mana. It's a 3/1. The ring tempts you. I mean, you can literally just make this your ring bearer. If anybody's got any big stuff at the board, I mean, you can just start swinging in with it. It goes to your graveyard. You can pay a black, sacrifice a creature, which in black, you're doing that regardless. And then you just put it back to your hand. And there's so many things like Bastion of Remembrance, when death triggers. I mean, Blood Artist. I mean, the list goes on. And you just put it back in your hand. This card will never be more than 2.
Yeah, it does dodge commander tags.
That's true. It does have a sack outlet to bring it back too, which is cool.
I'm scared to let my commander go to my graveyard, though.
Why?
Because then I guess what? They're going to get rid of it, and then you can move it to...
I mean, if they
the
exile your
Command
man
zone, and then it costs 4.
And then you have to do it again. I don't know, it just seems weird.
Yeah, I would let it go to the grave for this.
100%. I think this has a lot of potential for any kind of sacrificing or reanimator kind of effects.
Yeah, having an effect like Reassembly Skeleton in your command zone seems pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's move on to the grades for Gollum, Patient Plotter. Steven, what are you giving it?
I'm actually kind of high on this, and I'm actually probably going to give it a B, actually.
Whoa! I am definitely the opposite on that one. I was originally going real low, like F territory, but learning that like a Reassembling Skeleton in the command zone's kind of solid. I'm going to go D.
I'm going to go D as well.
Steven did a really good job of talking me up on this card. It's a D.
Yeah, well, Gollum, Patient Plotter is going to get an average grade of a C.
Ooh.
Moving on to another Gollum. This is Gollum, Scheming Guide. It is 1 and a black for a 2/1 legendary creature halfling horror. It says whenever it attacks, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put them back in any order, then choose land or non-land. An opponent guesses whether the top card of your library is the chosen kind. Reveal that card. If they guessed right, remove Gollum from combat. Otherwise, you draw a card and Gollum can't be blocked this turn. This seems fun.
Dude, David loves this kind of randomness.
It's not random.
This isn't random. This is mind games.
This is
that seems that kind of seems random to me. Either they can guess it or they don't guess it.
I mean,
they can't predetermine that.
Yeah, but you do predetermine.
Yeah, you're determining what's cards.
Yeah, but you can't always reliably get 1 to trigger. That's what I'm saying.
No, you can't. But I mean, at a very bare minimum too. This is like a scry 2 on combat.
Yeah,
you do get to stack it.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. Seems pretty good. I like this card a lot.
I don't like this Gollum as much as the last one, but I still think it's pretty good.
You don't like this one as much as the last one? Okay, explain.
It is kind of like the random aspect of it. I mean, you don't really know what's going to happen. I mean, worst case, you're swinging in with a 2/1 that gets put back, out of combat. But otherwise, you get to draw a card. I mean, it's a constant scry.
I mean, regardless of whatever it is, this is not going to die ever, right? In combat, at least.
Yeah.
It's either leaving combat or it's being not able to be blocked. That's fantastic.
Either it's doing nothing and you scry, or it can't be blocked.
I think this card just is way too minimal for me still, so I'm kind of, I think, on the same page as Steven.
Well, let's move on to the grades. I'm actually going to give Gollum Scheming Guide a higher grade than the last Gollum. I'm giving this a C.
What?
I think I'm going to give this one the same as the last one, a D.
I'm going to give this one a D. I'm also not very high on this card.
I'm actually going to give this one a C.
There we go, Steven. Look at us. Gollum Scheming Guide gets the average grade of a C. Next up, Gorbag of Minas Morgul. It is 1 and a black for a 2/2 legendary orc soldier. It says whenever a goblin or orc you control deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. When you do, choose one. Either draw a card or create a treasure. What do we think, Steven?
Garbage.
Garbage.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Sticking with the 2 mana commanders, which is cool.
Yeah, I mean 2 mana for a 2/2 with some decent stuff. I don't know. When I read a card, I usually feel some love for it, and A, this is terrifying, but B, this is also shitty.
Could this be like a weird, like what you were bringing up last time, sacrifice deck, but you could also like just draw a card every time you sacrifice something?
I mean, it's got to be an orc or a goblin.
That's true.
And you have to have had it deal combat damage.
That's true too. I'm just saying, like, if you had like a token strat,
It's also
with a
very
bunch.
limited.
Yeah,
mono.
there's really not a whole lot of orc/goblin creatures in Monoblack. I think that this would be wonderful if you're playing like a Rakdos goblin deck, but that
True.
obviously would mean that this is supporting.
Here is your number crunch. There are 33 mono black goblins and 23 mono black orcs.
So probably not a good enough selection of quality cards to make a deck.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Could be. Got Orcish Bowmasters.
The one, hey, there it is.
A very good card. Yeah, I don't know if this is good enough. I mean, you have to kill your creature to draw a card, or kill your creature to make 1 treasure. I'm saying no for Gorbag from me. Let's move on to the grades. I'm saying no in the term of a D.
I'm gonna join you right there, man. I'm gonna say this is a D.
Yeah, I feel like
It's a
I've been
D.
very bad. Yeah, it's a D. I feel like I've been kind of negative, but geez.
Gorbag of Minas Morgul is going to be a D. Next up, Gothmog Morgul Lieutenant. It is 3 and a black for a 3/3 legendary creature human soldier. It says when it enters the battlefield, amass orcs 1. And creature tokens you control have death touch. That's a cool ability.
That ability is cool.
Finally got out of the realm of 2 mana. We're at a 4 mana. Steven, what do you think of Gothmog?
I mean, I like this card a little bit more. I mean, 4 mana commanders usually kind of like I fray from, I'll be honest with you. But what I will say, I mean, this does make the token for your death touch, which is great. And obviously this is in mono black, and you do have some fun stuff to play with when it comes to making tokens. So, I mean, I'm not upset with it. Not happy with it, but
Yeah, I don't
David?
know.
I'm kind of on the same page. The creature token having death touch thing I think is really neat. Amass, I'm still not a big fan of. This could be okay. I'm just not saying this is not a kill on sight commander or something that I'm like really gonna be afraid of. I think this is something that if my opponent plays this, it's like, okay, we're probably gonna play something a little bit more like battle cruisy or like lower power, and I think that's totally fine.
Yeah, it sucks that we're in a year 2023 where I look at this and it just kind of seems vanilla. I mean, besides the bottom part's sick, but I don't know. This card just kind of seems like it's a limited card for me.
Yeah, I mean 4 mana for 4 power on board at least. I mean, if you already have an orc on the field, it just adds another counter to it. But yeah, just that creature token's having death touch, I think
Yeah, that
is
part's cool.
enough for me. Let's move on to the grades. Shane, what are you gonna give it?
I'm gonna move up a little bit. I'm gonna give it a C.
Yeah, I'm gonna join you there. The creature tokens control have death touch is enough for me to give this a C.
yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to give this a C.
We are all in agreement. This is a C.
Gothmog gets the average grade of a C. Next up, Grima Wormtongue. It is 2 and a black for a 1/4 legendary creature, human advisor. Your opponents can't gain life. And you can also tap it, sacrifice another creature. Target player loses 1 life. If the sacrificed creature was legendary, amass orcs 2. It's got a lot going on here.
If
A lot
you are
of
playing
shit.
up against a deck that plans on winning with Sanguine Bond and Exquisite Blood, then maybe.
I was gonna say that, but this is so out of left field.
He's not good. That opponents can't gain life is essentially flavor text. I don't. If you need an effect like that, like your meta is weird, and then his second ability just doesn't do enough for me.
Yeah, what are you gonna be sacrificing legendary creatures, dude?
Yeah, which means they're definitely not tokens.
Yeah.
That's just upside. I mean, you could sacrifice a creature. It's just a sack
Yeah,
outlet
you
on
know.
a sack outlet on a commander is not terrible. I know you have to tap this first for it to work instead of just sacking something by itself, but it's still not bad.
Not great though.
I don't think it's great. There's enough sack outlets in EDH that are either a free or like repeatable or both. And this isn't either. There's a cost associated with this that you do have to tap this thing down, and you're not repeating this. You're not untapping this in mono black.
Moving on to the grades. David, what are you giving it?
This is my first F of the day.
F for me, baby.
I'm not going that low. It still does something enough. For me, it's a D.
Does something, but it's awful. So I will give this an F.
All right. Grima Wormtongue gets the average grade of an F. Next up, Lobelia Sackville-Baggins. 2 and a black for a 2/3 legendary creature halfling citizen. It's got flash. It's got menace. It says, whenever it enters the battlefield, exile target creature card from an opponent's graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn. Then create X treasure tokens where X is the exiled card's power. That is a powerful effect.
It's dockside in the command zone, and this thing having flash is actually really powerful.
Mm-hmm. You just wait until something big goes away. Flash it in, gets a bunch of treasures.
Plus, like, she's so cheap that you may just want to sacrifice her and then, I don't know, cast her again, flash her out a second time with maybe some of the treasures that you just made. I mean, you can make an insane amount of treasures with a commander like this.
Granted, you are exiling the target creature that gave you a lot of treasure in the first place, so you're going to have to find a second target.
Man,
This is
if only your
pretty
opponents were playing
situational.
Magic. And in mono black, you're definitely not going to be able to kill any other things.
I'm just saying it might not be as big as the first one
It just seems kind of situational
in terms of.
in terms of kind of setting up your thing. Like, I need something bigger to die, hopefully, and then
No,
cast this
hopefully.
out.
Things will be in the graveyard.
Well, it has to be this turn though, like right now.
Okay.
It's got
true.
flash.
Right.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, like, so it's situational in that sense though.
I mean, even if you just cast this thing and exile out like a 4 mana value creature, you're still like netting mana. Like that's 4 treasures that you could potentially use to cast something gigantic the following turn.
That's not. I'm not arguing that. I know.
I mean, I
It's-
think the thing that we're forgetting is like black has really bad rituals too.
True.
Like almost none. So there's no way that you could like, yeah, there's just no. You just can't, man.
I know if they had a card that was like, I don't know, pay 1 mana to get 3 black mana or something like that, that would be really good.
Do you think they have a card that if you had some extra cards in your graveyard, you might actually get some extra mana too?
Oh, we should design cards.
Let's design some
Let's-
cards.
Let's move on to the grades. Steven, what are you giving Lobelia?
This card's a B. I love this card. Not only for the abilities that, she has, but for the name.
Belia.
Sackville.
He's talking about Sackville.
Oh, I think I'm gonna give this card a C.
Yeah, I'm going to give this card a C as well.
I'm going to give this a B just because I feel like you cast her one time and she's going to set you up to just kind of throw you in the lead as just like a good stuff black deck.
Lobelia Sackville-Baggins gets the average grade of a B. Next up, Sauron the Necromancer. 3, 2 black for a 4/4 legendary creature avatar horror. It says it has menace, and whenever it attacks, exile target creature card from your graveyard, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 3/3 black wraith with menace. At the beginning of the next end step, exile that token unless Sauron is your ring bearer.
Yeah, that's got a lot going on there.
This does have a lot going on. For 5 mana, is this good?
You want to know what's stopping this card from being an A?
It doesn't tempt itself.
No,
What?
It's true.
it's 5 mana.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like just the fact that you need to build around the ring bear if you want that last ability, that's
Mhm.
gonna be kind of tricky. I know we just got
Gotta
that
make-
new set, but
You got to make him the ring bearer too.
well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
I mean, if
That's-
I've seen anything, it's not hard.
It's really not that difficult. And in fact, actually, Black has some of the better ring bearer like temptation cards. There's an enchantment. I don't remember the name of it that
Slip
came out
on the
in this
ring.
set.
No, wait.
Yeah, that
Is it
no,
on
it's
Slip the Ring?
it's one in a black where the ring tempts you every turn.
Oh, it's the picture of the.
Call of the Ring.
So I don't think that it's actually going to be like super difficult or really even like out of the way to make a ring bearer in this deck. And I mean, the rest of this reanimation is just like gas. Sure, you're not reanimating like a big body pack, but you can reanimate some pretty scary like ETBs or just general effects on cards.
That's true. ETBs are nice. But eventually, I feel like, I don't know, you're going to have to fill your graveyard constantly.
Black is very good
I
at
mean,
that. And it's
yeah.
also very good at tutoring directly into the graveyard. Like you can potentially just like go find the exact creature you need.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I know. And this needs to attack for that to trigger.
Attack with a 4/4 with Menace. That you can
Yeah.
make your ring bear.
Sign me up.
Let's move on to the grades. I'm actually going to give Sauron a C.
I'm gonna actually go up a little bit here and give this card a B.
You know, I didn't want to be the first to say it, but I'm gonna do it now. It's gonna be a B for me.
It is a B for me as well.
Sauron the Necromancer is getting an average grade of a B. Next up, Witch King, Bringer of Ruin. It is 4 and 2 black for a 5/3 legendary creature, Wraith Noble. It has flying and says whenever Witch King, Bringer of Ruin attacks, defending players sacrifices a creature with the least power among creatures they control. That is not great.
I'm gonna say it right now. 6
it.
mana.
Yep, 6 mana. I mean, it's got flying, so it's a little bit of evasion, but this.
You
This isn't
sacrifice
gonna
your weakest thing.
Hey,
Ha, got
Steven,
you.
sacrifice your little 1/1 orc army that you made. Oh, bummer.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. I know this sounds shitty, but I love this card. The fact that it's 6 mana is making me hate it though. That's the only thing I hate about this card.
I mean, granted, if your opponent only has one creature, they're sacking the one creature. But still, sacking the thing that's the weakest is a bummer.
I mean, the only thing I want to say extra on this card is that it would be beneficial that you're in this amazing color to destroy the big things. And you can just use this to kind of wipe the rest of their board.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of easy to control your opponent's board with it. Also, this card kind of reminds me of Thraximunder, given that that one's a little bit more expensive, has some other stuff going along with it as well. But it kind of plays the same way, where it's like you want to bully a specific opponent. Where if your opponent only has one creature, and say for example it's their commander, guess what? That's the creature with the least power. So you can just kind of like continuously hit somebody, and that's going to do a lot of damage, and it's also going to mess with their ability to kind of get back into the game. So I don't think Witch King is all that bad. I do think he's a little narrow, and there are going to be situations where he's not very good, like if you're playing up against a token deck. But if you can start to outpace your opponent, I think that he's going to do great.
You know, I really liked your comparison right there because Thrax is a pain in the ass, so I can kind of see this.
He's also 3 colors.
Well, he's also more expensive too.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the grades. Because he's not 3 colors, and because he's just mono black and costs 6, and the lesser creature, not any creature, it's not going to be a high grade for me. I'm actually just going to stick right in the middle of the road. It's a C.
Yeah, I still think it's a C as well, though.
Yeah, this is a C.
I'm going to give this a C as well.
Witch King, Bringer of Ruin, gets the average grade of a C. And the final card we're talking about today is Witch King of Angmar. It is 3 and 2 black for a 5/3 legendary creature, Wraith Noble. It's got flying and says whenever one or more creatures deal combat damage to you, each opponent sacrifices a creature that dealt combat damage to you this turn. The ring tempts you. And another ability, we can discard a card. Witch King of Angmar gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. This one's better than the last one.
I like this. Don't hit me.
I
Don't
actually
hit.
don't. I don't think I like this one as much as the last one, to be completely honest.
Why?
'Cause you play aggro. He plays aggro.
No, because this is just like it's a big dumb creature. So it says whenever one or more creatures. So if they attack you and you have, I don't know, if they've got a 12/12 and a 1/1 that they attacked you with, they'll just sack the 1/1. They're still going to sack the creature with the least power. This one, however, doesn't give you the control of like what direction you're going to point it in. So
However, you can control that because you'll just let the one you want to die to deal damage to you.
so you're going to let the big one get blocked by this?
No. I'll let the big
Oh,
one
you're
through.
gonna
I'll
block
block
the
the
long
small
one.
one.
Okay, never mind. I misheard you. I don't know. I just look at it like this. I don't feel this is all that great. Like the indestructible clause in this is cute. The fact that you have to tap it down basically means that this is just going to be out of combat. I feel like this is going to incentivize your opponents to just kind of remove this and generate more hate than what the card is worth.
I feel like that discard is actually relevant, and it's more for like blocks. I want to say, because then you can block anything and it doesn't die. And tapping it on blocks doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it does kind of matter whenever you have 3 opponents. If opponent 1 swings in and you tap this thing down, this is no longer a blocker for opponents 2 and 3.
That's true, but they're gonna sacrifice whatever they hit you with.
Maybe
I'm
that
just saying
1/1
there's
because you don't have a blocker.
Hey, okay, fine. If you're playing against only 1/1s, David, in your world, that sucks. I play against real people though, and they have big creatures.
Real people.
I didn't mean that to be a negative. There are many real people in the world.
I'm hurt. I'm not a real people.
Steven?
I mean, this card's not great.
Mm-hmm.
But if I must go on that, what I will say is it's not great.
All right. Well, we're done there.
All right, well, let's move on to the grades for this. We're going to start with Steven.
I'm actually gonna give this a D.
Oh
I'm
man,
still middle of the road. I'm going to give this a C.
I'm gonna give it a C too.
I'm gonna let it scoot by with a C. I feel like if we did plus and minus grades, this would be a C minus.
All right. Well, the average grade for Witch King is going to be a C. And that is going to do it for us today. I hope you guys liked that video. If you did, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. What are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Check the description where you find links to all of our socials. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that jazz. Follow us on those as well. Comment down below if you agreed with these grades, if you disagreed with these grades. We're always interested to see what you guys think. And until the next video, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Later.
Bye.
Bye bye.